Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn the story of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
I couldn't find.
Now the priests and Jewish leaders decided that Jesus should be judged by the Grand Council, the Sanhedrin, a group of 70 Jews who were responsible for understanding and interpreting God's laws. This all took place at a time the Emperor of Rome and his soldiers ruled over everything else in Israel. The high priest was very angry and asked the Grand Council what should be done with Jesus, because he had claimed to be the Son of God. Almost everyone thought that Jesus should be killed for making such a claim. However, they did not have the power to give a death sentence. So it was decided to bring Jesus to the Roman governor named Pilate, who did have the power to sentence Jesus to death. Jesus was taken during the early morning to see Pilate. When Pilate opened the door, they shouted, "Here is a man who said he is the Son of God. You have to kill him." But Pilate did not want to do that. He did not think this charge deserved the death penalty. So they changed their accusation and shouted, "He has made himself king." Pilate took Jesus inside and asked him if he was the king of the Jews. Jesus replied, "My kingdom is not of this world." Pilate knew that Jesus did not deserve to be killed and that the Jewish leaders were just jealous of him. But then he had an idea. Every Passover, he released a prisoner. There was a terrible murderer in prison called Barabbas. Why not give them the choice as to who should be released, Barabbas or Jesus? Surely they would choose Jesus, not Barabbas. Pilate went out to the people and shouted, "You must choose who I am to release, Barabbas or Jesus." To his great surprise, they shouted that Barabbas should be released. "What shall I do with Jesus?" Pilate asked. The Jewish leaders had stirred up a mob to shout, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate dared not do anything but sentence Jesus to be crucified. The Roman soldiers ordered to crucify Jesus, dressed him in a scarlet royal robe, and mockingly bowed before him. They also made a crown of thorns and put it on his head so that the blood flowed. Then they beat Jesus, spat on his face, and whipped him across his back. Then they took off the robe and dressed Jesus in his clothes. They made him carry his own cross through Jerusalem to Calvary, the place where he was to be crucified. At Calvary, they removed Jesus' clothes and nailed his hands and feet to the cross. Pilate had made a wooden sign which they nailed to the cross above Jesus' head. It read, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." Many people in the crowd mocked and insulted Jesus, but others were very upset and grieving. Among them were Mary, the mother of Jesus, the disciple John, and Mary, who came from the city of Magdala. Jesus looked down at them from the cross and prayed aloud, "Father in heaven, forgive them because they do not know what they are doing." In the middle of the day, when the sun usually shines as bright as possible, it suddenly became very dark. Everyone was surprised. Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus was all alone as he took the punishment for our sin. Then Jesus cried out again, "It is finished. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." After saying this, Jesus breathed his last breath and died. There was a big earthquake. the ground shook, and everyone was very scared. The Roman centurion in charge of the soldiers who had mocked and crucified Jesus, having seen all that had happened, knew how wrongly he had acted. He praised God and said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." He knew Jesus had died to save people from their sins. That evening, Nicodemus and Joseph from Arimathea went to Pilate and asked if they could bury Jesus' dead body. Pilate was surprised that Jesus was already dead and called an officer who told him everything that had happened. Nicodemus and Joseph from Arimathea took Jesus' body down from the cross. They wrapped it in a clean linen cloth with sweet-smelling myrrh and aloe spices. Then they carried the body to a new tomb belonging to Joseph from Arimathea and rolled back a large stone in front of the entrance. Mary from Magdala followed and saw where they buried Jesus. Then she went home and cried. She did not know the great surprise she would have 3 days later. And then the kids made this cute little cross with rolled up tissue paper, and they glued this down to the cross. Let's close in prayer. Dear God, thank you for sending your only Son to die for me. Dear Jesus, thank you for enduring the bitter sufferings and death on the cross for me, a poor, miserable sinner. Amen.